Hello, this is Ron again, and now we're back with some more of the 14 reasons why houses don't sell. And the next one on the list is when the salesman loses control of the loan process. Notice I said the salesman loses control, not the mortgage processor or the mortgage originator. If you are the salesman, or if you have a salesman, it is your responsibility to make sure that the loan processor has everything they need in their hands as fast as they can get it in their hands. Remember, it's you that's waiting on the check. It's them that's doing the work, but a lot of people assume that it's the loan processor's job to do a lot of things that it really isn't their job. They're going to send out forms to get like the verification of employment and the verification of deposit, but it's not their job to chase people down to try to get them back. Any documents that they need to get this loan to the underwriter, you should be involved in getting them to them or making sure that they get to them from your buyer. If these documents aren't there, then your loan processor cannot present the loan to the underwriter to get approval. And here's something that a new investor won't know. When you see people taking 30 to 60 days to get a loan approval, the truth is, my friend, it only takes 2 days to get a loan approval. The rest of the time is spent compiling the package so that the loan processor can present it to the committee. So if you help them do everything they can to get that package in place, and they'll tell you what that is. You don't need to know that. They'll tell you, here's the things that I've got to have done before we can get an approval. And then you do everything you can to help them get that done, you'll find it'll go a whole lot faster, and your loan originator will love you for it, because not every person that brings them a deal will take the time to get all of that legwork done for them. So it's your money, and every day that goes by is a day you risk losing that buyer. I can't tell you how many times I learned that lesson. I can't tell you how many times I get right up to the closing, a day or two before the closing, and something happens. They go find a house that they like better, or they lose their job, or they bought something 2 days earlier that now popped up on their credit report in spite of my instructions not to do so. All of these things that can go wrong. Every single day that goes by from the time you put them under contract to the time you get them to a closing is a day that you risk something going wrong. Sometimes it's not in their control, sometimes it is. But so the faster you can get these documents to the loan processor, the faster they can get it submitted, faster you can get approval, and faster you can get closed. So it's your responsibility. Ask them what I can do to help. Check with them about once a week. Check on the progress. Don't be a pain in the neck, but check on them. What's missing? What can I do to help you? And it also puts you primary on their mind, because if you ever go and watch a loan processor and work, you'll see a whole stack of files around the desk. It's your job to try to get your file moved around that desk as fast as possible, so that if that processor knows that you're working hard to get them the pieces they need, and that you're watching them and that you're checking in on them, I bet you yours gets moved around there more than those wheels who aren't squeaking the loudest. So help them get their job done. All right, next is house located too far away from the city. This one should be an easy one for you to fix. Just don't buy houses that are too far away from the city. If I need a AAA map to get out to that house, well, I guess they don't use those anymore. Today they use what, apps and GPS and Google Maps and the like. But listen, if it's a long hike out there, that means that the pool of buyers is way, way down there, because a lot of people just don't want to take that drive out into the country to find that and live in that house today. And the price of gas is so high, it's the inconvenience, it's the loss of time every day. And I understand people want to, there's still a need for people to live out in the rural communities, but then there's rural, and then there's really out in the sticks. So I'd say if you're more than probably 15 minutes, 20 minutes max away from town, and I know there's exceptions, of course, you ought to think twice about whether, are people going to want to live out here? Are houses selling out here on a regular basis? Or is this too big of a hurdle for me to get over? Remember, you've got plenty of choices of where you want to buy. Why buy where you're going to have a problem? Why buy out in the middle of nowhere when you don't have to? Why buy next to a paint factory where the stink scares away your buyers? Why buy next to a dump? You don't have to. You know, buy the houses where people want to buy them, and don't try to push a rope uphill and make people attracted to a house that's obvious is going to be a difficult sale. So, how about it, Lauren? Should we stop here and
You have 5 seconds before you hit 5-minute mark.
All right, well then I'm just going to keep on going. Next, house in a high price range where few buyers can afford. Well, I'm not opposed to high price ranges, but I am opposed to you being in a super high price range when the whole rest of the area around the house is down here. If your house is priced up here and everything around is down here, you're going to have a problem. In fact, you're likely not going to get that house sold. And if you do, you're going to have to drop that price way down. Now again, I don't have any problem with high priced houses as long as they're in areas with high priced houses. There's still a big market out there for those. And then of course high prices in the, all depends on where it's at. A high priced house in the Washington DC market of $2 million might be a $200,000 house in Jacksonville, Florida, or wherever that house is located. So it's all relevant. Frankly, if $1 million house is the norm, then you want to deal in the norm above. If a $200,000 house is the norm, you want to deal in the norm above. So I'm not opposed to high price houses, but I want you to be careful of two things. Number one, make sure that there's a market for those high priced houses and that they are moving in the area where you're buying them. And number two, make sure you don't put yourself at any risk when you're buying them. What I would hate to see you do is go down to the bank and guarantee a note to buy this high-end house because you see all of these great big bucks sitting there and get yourself into a trap. Personally, I prefer you stay down there in the medium price or a little below, or medium price or a little high. So let's say your median price is $200,000, since it's a nice round number. Then I would be more comfortable if you were buying houses from the $150,000 to the $350,000 range. And by the way, my friend, that is where most of your quality housing prices are throughout America. If you get outside of San Francisco and outside of Washington, D.C. and outside of New York City and the handful of high dollar markets there are in this country. By and large, most of the product that are available in this country are the really nice stuff, the decent stuff is between $150,000 and $350,000 across America. So I'd suggest you stay there. Then when you learn the business a little while, if you want to inch that up and you see some great deals, take advantage of them, but don't put yourself at a big risk doing it. And last is only one bath. We've covered that a little earlier on recent lessons, but I would be very, very cautious if I were you about buying houses with only one bath. I wouldn't unless there was only 2 bedrooms in it, and I have bought a couple this year with only 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, but they were condos and townhouses. I would certainly not buy a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, single-family detached home today. I wouldn't. It's just too hard to sell. And nowadays, if you get anything that's less than 30 years old, it's likely to have 2 bedrooms and 2 baths in it. So again, house too small means hard sale. I want more room, I want more baths, preferably more bedrooms, because I find people know that they can buy more space for the same price that they can buy less space for today, and so they're going to gravitate to the more space. So that pretty much covers it. We've covered all 14 reasons why houses don't sell, and if I missed any, go ahead and submit them to me and I'll do a lesson just on that. See you soon.